Let me first apologize that I cannot speak in the beautiful language of this country, so if anyone wants to get the headphones, this is the time to do it. Alcalde, Mayor of Santiago, Angel Corras, thank you so much for being such a gracious host for us in the last 2 days. We will leave this wonderful city full of very beautiful memories and take them back home with us. Not only have you come from all over Spain, we have come from all over the world to be here in Santiago this afternoon. So thank you for offering us this memorable experience. Thank you. Mayor of Avila, representing World Heritage Cities of Spain, thank you so much for your very kind words. You also are a mayor of a great city. I've visited several times and I'm in love with it. Mayor of Alcalá de Henares, you have joined us recently. Thank you so much for being with us. Mayor of Segovia, Mayor of Ibiza, thank you for being with us. You all represent great, great cities. They would not have been cities of World Heritage Site if they were not great cities as such. Let me start by saying that I bring you greetings from the United Nations family, from our sister organization UNESCO, that have declared you World Heritage Sites. We work together hand in hand, and I'm very proud to be representing the entire family here today. I also bring you greetings from the international tourism community, and is so proud of the achievements of each and every one of the cities that you represent here, and many of the cities whose mayors or vice mayors are not represented here today. I'm delighted to be here today in one of the first and most effective and important seminars led by the affiliate members. My very good friend Miguel Mirones is initiating and starting his mandate by being so energetic and being with us in many, many of these events. And I'm very happy to share the podium with him. And my very good friend Yolanda, a colleague that I respect very much, has put together with her team this very important meeting on the background of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Executive Council. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last few decades, tourism has become an extraordinary phenomenon, a truly central global phenomenon. In 2012, 1 billion, in Spanish it's 1,000 million, not 1 million, 1 billion. 1,000 million tourists crossed international borders in 1 year. That means 1 out of 7 of the people of the world make an international trip outside of their country every year. Add to that 6 billion, 6,000 million domestic tourists that do trips within their own national boundaries. In China alone, there was 3.2 billion trips made in 1 year in 2013. The world is moving. Tourism has not remained anymore an elitist activity. It is a people's movement. It's changing the way we live. It's changing the world around us. While doing that, we are creating 1 out of 11 jobs all over the world. I know that here in Santiago, it's 1 over 9 jobs all over this city. Even more in some of the cities that you represent here. 9% of world GDP is the contribution of tourism to the world economy, and 30% of income in trade in services all over the world. This is generating 1.4 trillion US dollars every year. I don't know, Antonio, if trillion translates in English correctly, but trillion is 1,000 billion, which is 1,000 billion. The question becomes now, how do we harness this sheer force of billions and billions in its immense value? How do we make it a force for good? How can we draw from the deep well to promote new and innovative tourism products that translate into economic growth, better livelihood for the host communities, and the promotion and the preservation of the very same monuments that we cherish so much? How do we do that? Throughout thousands of years, mankind has left so many of his monuments, storytellers. These markers of history are so valuable to all of us. They tell our stories. They tell who we are. They reveal our spirits. They are engraved in stones. Anybody that passes or walks through the trails of Santiago can feel the vibes of thousands of years of people that have passed through the same paths and the same routes every day, of every month, of every year. But tourism, my dear friends, is the storyteller. Tourism is the publisher and the distributor of the story. Culture, stones alone mean nothing if people don't interact with them and don't enjoy them. Tourism is the most valuable translation and reflection of our culture and disseminator and the distributor of who we are to the rest of the world and to the visitors. It is the mosaic of all what we represent. The more people travel and the immense intensity of the travel, the better the societies become. We become better people when we travel. We open our minds, we open our heart, and we learn new things. We become different human beings. We need to create the healthy connection between tourism and culture, because one of them cannot live without the other. My very good friend Miguel Mirones said that there are conservatives that would like to keep culture preserved as it is, versus the liberals that want to flood the places with tourists, is the balance that we need to strike. Let me, my dear friend Miguel, propose a different equation. I want to present an equation that says that the cultural heritage, the preservation, the protection of the cultural heritage on one hand, tourism and the intense and the growth of the visitation on the other hand, are not a zero-sum game. If one increases, the other does not decrease. Actually, what I'm going to propose is, if tourism does not make a place a better place than when it came before, it should not come. The more people visit a place, the better the place must become. The fresher, the more protected, the more preserved, and the more beautiful it must become. The immense revenues that tourism generates must be utilized to make the place a more beautiful place, because it will in turn make tourism even more. So it's one thing building upon another to make it a win-win equation, not a win-lose equation by any means. This is the challenge that we are faced in the 21st century. And it is a challenge that can and should be met through management, innovation, the utilization of technology. We must face the challenge of making every person in this world enjoy every place that they want and can go to. We cannot make culture and monuments an elitist and an exclusive place that is put on a pedestal or within a glass box. We must face the challenge of make everybody enjoy it and make it better at the same time, and we can do it. It's been done in many places around the world. Let me, ladies and gentlemen, suggest three quickly very, very important areas where tourism and culture can meet and can enrich and strengthen one another. One, tourism and culture can work together for economic growth. It is an obvious thing to start looking at culture as a development tool, not as a pedestal of a masterpiece only. Culture is an invaluable tourism resource. Actually, culture is the natural capital of tourism. You don't consume your capital. No intelligent society consumes its capital. It makes it grow, it makes it larger, it makes it bigger, it makes it wealthier, and it makes it even more beautiful. The responsible use of cultural assets for tourism creates new employment, new opportunities, and generates income for local communities. By the same token, cultural tourism can provide a vital tool for poverty alleviation, as many, many poor people, particularly in developing countries, and many of you here are representing developing countries, where there is no much choices other than the rich culture that we have to trade it off in terms of progress, growth, and prosperity. Second, tourism and culture can work together for social development, not only creating jobs, but making us better people and more harmonious society. There is nothing more powerful than people rubbing shoulders with other people. You can never hold feelings of animosity or resentment to people that you have tasted their food, drank their wines, listened to their music, or danced their songs. You become part of that culture. You become affiliated and associated with the people you visit. Actually, when you visit, you see things in a different eye. But not only that, you give a new vision to the people that you visit. The people that are visited, the host communities, start seeing themselves and the world in a different way. When they see the appreciation in your eyes of what they have, they start valuing what they have. It is a powerful, powerful social development tool. 3, and most important, tourism and culture can work together for the heritage protection and the preservation itself, because it's inherent in the interest of tourism to preserve it. I have seen so many places all over the world where tourism has enhanced the culture. I was telling a story 2 nights ago to some of my friends. A few months ago, I was in the city of Hyderabad in India. And I was put in a hotel, one of the very luxurious hotels. I get that privilege sometimes. That used to be a house for one of the richest men in the world. The king of Hyderabad used to be called the Nizam. He had a beautiful mansion, as beautiful as the Parador that we're living in, but with wonderful gardens all around it. And for a minute I stood back and thought, if this building was not turned into a hotel and utilized for the service of tourism, what budget in the world, let alone the budget of India or Hyderabad, could have preserved it or protected it? There was no way to do that. It was kept because it was put for the use of people and because it was preserved for the good and for the benefit and utilization of travel and tourism. And I can bring you many, many examples like this. So ladies and gentlemen, let us once and for all think of cultural tourism as one, not as one taking away from the other. This is a defeatist attitude, and we can't surrender to it. The last thought I would like to leave with you is the fact that we must, as cities representing the World Heritage Sites, and you in Spain here are blessed and privileged to have so many of them, so many of the big number of World Heritage Sites. I think the number has been given to me as in the hundreds, if I'm not mistaken, Sandra. You have about 40% of World Heritage Sites in Europe, and most of them, biggest percentage of them, is here in Spain. Once a site is declared a World Heritage Site, you are giving, you are sending an open invitation to the world to come and visit you. It is automatic. You can't declare a site a World Heritage Site and expect to be protected or shielded from the people of the world. You're inviting the people. Once they come to you, your life has changed. A few months ago, I was in the city of Luang Prabang in Laos. The city, the entire city was declared as World Heritage Site. And while talking to the people there, they told me their lives have completely changed after this was declared the World Heritage Sites. There are more cars on the streets, there are more buses, there are more visitors, there are more restaurants, there are more cafes. It's a natural consequence. Let's embrace growth, let's embrace tourism, let's turn this power of travel and tourism to a force for good and a force for the favor of our cultural heritage, to our souls, to our stories, to our lives, and to our history. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. It's wonderful to be here in Spain. It's wonderful to be celebrating this thing with the representatives and the elected officials of great, great cities here in Spain. And for those of you that are from outside of Spain, believe me, this is a wonderful country. Travel around, see every bit of it, interact with the people, and enjoy it, because it's a lifetime experience. Muchísimas gracias.